So hello everyone, it's Dalton here for a new video. It has been a long time since I didn't do any voiceover and presentation video on my channel. So today I want to review and break down my latest my last keyframe I did for um, about Pirate. And so basically, I just want to present you um, the keyframe itself, and then we'll go over the creation process on Blender and Photoshop. But the first thing I want to explain is why I decided to make this keyframe. So basically, and I'm going to make some spoil. So I will make a spoil alert. I'm going to spoil Hierarchy main story. But I really want to work on the scale of the Mantis on Pirate. And so I took the example of the Queen ship we can find on Erebus at the last boss fight in the game currently. Um, and so I want to make something that we have this character that landed with the design that was made by a Pirates player, um, and he's just looking at this gigantic Mantis Queen ship, and that just got destroyed and just is just abandoned on a random planet. And that's really what I want to represent here is we have this pilot that just was maybe going around on the system, and he just saw this big Mantis ship and just landed to view it himself. And the planets in the background are just some random things that I want to because for me it was quite empty in the background. My first idea was to make it like the old system, like a yellowish sky, but I wasn't really satisfied with the result. And so I think that's very what I want to explain here. We have these guidelines all around that really lead us to this main ship. And yeah, I just wanted to make a small tribute to this amazing design that we cannot really see, but it's right here. And yeah, I think that's it. If you have any more question regarding the design itself, you can always drop a comment below. But now we'll go over the Blender. Okay, so now we are in Blender, where I will show you some little things that I've worked on. So basically, this is the camera scene and the final render I did on Blender. But if I just go outside of the camera view, we can just view that it's just some mountain plane with the big ship and our character that is just sitting on the floating rock. And so I just want to present you a quick breakdown of, I think the most important thing on this keyframe is the scale effect that we have regarding the big Mantis ship. So there are actually two things that I've worked on. The first one is the fog. So I did multiple fogs to really have this, for effects, like distance effects with the ship. And so I did that with some gradient effects, and especially this one, which I just made a plane with this effect. And then I added two other void effects on the top. This way we have this nice, um, haze and fog effect that is really blend into our scene. Um, and so the other things that is quite important here is of course lightning. So I've used um, let me just I used four different lightnings. And so every lightning have is its importance. This one is for the foreground. We have more background things. This one is for the sky especially. We have more, on the background lightning effect, and yeah, and so that's basically it for the lightning. We also have some little clouds, 2D clouds, which I just imported some 2D images of clouds that I've just put on my scene. And yeah, I mean, basically that's it. Um, I also want to show you one thing that I've spoke about before is the distance between our character and the ship, because when you work with, having big objects, you cannot do like, don't put this object like in random area on your 3D scene. You have to have like uh, in something that is working. So for instance, the distance between my character and my ship is 150 meters, which is pretty small, we can say, but this really gives us the idea of how big this ship is for the character. And that's really something that is very, very important when you want to do like scale effect. And there's also the camera effect, because when you have different ways of working with scale effects. So you have this one where you just work with the real life distance of an object to another, but you can also work with the focal length. So for instance, if I want to make this scene, I could also put a higher focal length, like something like this, and then I just go over my view and camera to view and just unzoom. So of course this will give us some different feeling of the stones. Of course I will have to work on that, but as you can see, it really gives us like this object is massive regarding our character, and that's something that I will try to work on future keyframes and key arts. Um, and yeah, I mean that's it basically for Blender. I don't know what I can show you also is maybe the sky. So what I did is that I rendered every layer different separately, because I want to do some paint over on Photoshop, things that I will show you just after that. And so I just exported. Let me just go back and just remove my view, which is let me find it. This one. Um, and so basically what I did is um I've exported this with a transparent background, because I want to add my own sky on Photoshop to have a better overall quality. And so yeah, I will just show you that now on Photoshop. Okay, so now we are in the final paint over file on Photoshop. So I will do this as easy as possible, because of course I made this file for me. So the way I work with Photoshop is a little bit um, special, I think, because I just learned Photoshop by myself. Um, and so I just want to show you basically each layer that I exported in Blender. So first of all, this planet and this small moon, I just added them inside of Photoshop. Um, that's basically it. Like this is the basic um exports in Blender, and so we have each layer. We have my terrain and my ship. We have the clouds. We have the fog that I exported separately on Blender, as I told you before. This way I can really control each layer without, having to cut them manually by hand. Um, and so yeah, that's basically it for the Blender layers. Then I just did some work, paint over on my character, my ship, because I wasn't really satisfied with the basic results. So this is the basic render on Blender, and then I just added some more detail and shadows and everything like is. I mean, for me that's very important because of course I can just make my Blender render and just that's it. I mean, but I really want to bring out some Photoshop paint over on top because this allow me to add like I want to add more um fog also. Um, Let me show you the fog, but yeah, this one. So I just want to add some more fog. Uh, with this one. So this is just the fog that I added myself. This way I can really, really control everything that is made on that. And then of course we have the color correction, which is where you just make everything pop up, of course. And yeah, I mean that's basically it. I'm sorry if I was maybe fast when I explained, but I just wanted to make a small breakdown just to show you that I mean it's not very hard, I would say, to do something like this as long as you have some inspiration. Like at the moment I tend to have a little bit more inspiration because just by just when I look at some 3D models, just giving me some ideas. And of course, I will be doing other keyframes and kiosks in the future. I have one that I've worked recently on that I will be showing you later on my channel. It's something that is quite similar to that, but I did not make any Photoshop paint over on this one. I really want to work only with 3D and some, of course, color correction on Photoshop. And yeah, that's basically it. We can also add some blood lines for the cinematic effects. Um, Also, yeah, so that's something I want to work on, but yeah, I wasn't really satisfied. And yeah, that's it. If you have any question, feel free to ask me in the comments. Feel free to subscribe and see you next time. Bye bye.